Now at 9, a woman and child are dead following a Parsons, Kansas house fire. Plus, Joplin residents enjoy a river delicacy at Wildcat Glades. We'll take you there. And
farmers in southeast Kansas are going into grain season unsure of its quality due to rain this year. I'm Samantha Walker, and I'll have that story coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Anthony Saviello. The mother and one of the children involved in a Parsons, Kansas house fire Wednesday have died of their injuries. The Parsons Police Department today announced Kristen Vargas, the mother of the 4 children, died this morning in the hospital. One of her daughters, an 18-month-old infant, died in the hospital yesterday. 2 other children, a 7-month-old and a 4-year-old, are still receiving treatment in the hospital. The 4th child, a 6-year-old, has been placed with a relative. Police arrested another resident of the home, Jack Melton, at the scene on a charge unrelated from the fire. Officials are still investigating the fire itself. This week, many area farmers are starting their wheat harvesting season, but periods of heavy rainfall this year are raising concerns about the quality of this year's wheat. KOAM Samantha Walker has more.
We're starting wheat harvest today. We started the first of it yesterday. We're just getting going today.
Ben Hutto's family have grown grain for decades. Like many farmers in southeast Kansas, he has concerns after periods of heavy rain this spring.
The 6 weeks of wet that we've had have delayed a lot of field operations that we needed to do and have caused some lodging in this wheat that wouldn't have normally happened, and have affected the quality of the wheat, the final product as well.
As farmers across the area start going through their fields, they're looking to see if their crops were affected.
We are pleasantly surprised with the yields we're getting. I'd say they're still above average for wheat. We're not we weren't hurt too bad with it. It would have been better without the 6 weeks of rain, but it's not as bad as it could have been.
Farmer co-ops in the area say they are already seeing this year's products, and despite concerns, initial yields have them feeling positive.
Some of the plant health is not the best, but we're optimistic that with today's genetics, we're gonna see a nice wheat crop come off here.
Both farmers and a co-op say the one thing they're hoping is for little to no more rain this year.
Now that this grain is matured, any rainfall we receive in the next 2 weeks will probably have a pretty good impact on the quality.
Reporting in Columbus, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
According to our KOAM Skywatch weather team, southeast Kansas is straddling drought conditions dependent on the rainfall within the next few weeks. Meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney joins us with a first look at our weather.
And temperatures now starting to drop down to the 70s. Upper 70s, 77 in Carthage, 80s still in Independence, 83 in Nowata. So we're still pretty warm this evening, but we do have a few showers rolling in and some thunderstorms after midnight. We do have a marginal risk, so level 2 out of 3, not too bad. If you're in Joplin or north, Pittsburgh, Independence, Chanute, Nevada, Yates Center, all of those counties in our north may experience some strong to severe thunderstorms. Severe threat only being hail up to quarter size and wind gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. Currently, those storms are still west of Wichita, but you can see we've got a couple severe thunderstorm warnings and even a little tornado warning as well. That is a radar indicated tornado, not confirmed yet, but as it moves into our area, it is going to dissipate, and most of those storms are going to be north of us in Kansas City, but we could still expect some strong storms, and I'll have more details in just a bit.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. Kids in Neosho, Missouri got their fishing poles out this morning for a fishing derby at the National Fish Hatchery. We sent photojournalist Ty Parks there to catch all the action.
The Kids Derby is an event we have every year. It's an annual event, and it's just an event we do to get the kids involved, get them outside, get them involved with fishing, get some great sunshine, and some of these kids actually teach them how to fish. You'd be surprised how many kids have never fished before. So a lot of kids catch their very first fish right here at our fish hatchery.
It was nice. I mean, hot day, sunny, great. It's awesome. I mean, just catching great fish. This is my last time fishing at this fishing derby. I've been doing it for the past like 3 years. It was awesome. Yeah, I mean, my great-grandfather, Fred Hall, he came here to all the veteran fishing events, and even when he was in a wheelchair, until he died, he swore that he was going to be here for every single one if he was able to. So I kind of want to honor his legacy by fishing and doing it for him. I know he's looking down at me from above.
You know, you don't have to wait till the fishing derby to come out and visit us. We're open here 7 days a week. We have places you can come out and enjoy our facility. We have shelters here. We have barbecue grills here. We are truly a part of the community and a facility made for the community.
The annual fishing derby takes place on the first Friday of June every year. Joplin is entering a new dimension of art. World Street Painting is creating optical illusions and immersive artworks at the Harry M. Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. Officials say it adds a new element to street art that many people have never experienced.
This is going to be a flying VW bug, and you can pose on top of it to look like you're flying as well. And all the pieces have an optical illusion element to them so that when you take a picture, it looks 3D. So they're really made to be interacted with for people to come pose in them and kind of become part of the art.
This experience is part of a 3-year project. Next year, the group will host an international festival in Joplin with world-renowned street artists. Labette Health today hosted the 18th annual Public Safety Kids Camp at Forest Park in Parsons. Kids learned a wide variety of safety-related issues from severe weather to how to call 911. A helicopter was even called in for a demonstration earlier in the day.
They will learn gun safety, water safety, what Sheriff's Department and Police Department does. They will learn to be safe around electrical and its equipment. Mental health is also here. Parsons Fire is letting the kids spray water and teaching them about firefighters.
Every kid had the option of taking home one prize from 4 different items, such as a tent or a Bluetooth speaker. Rubber hit the road in Lamar, Missouri today for the Super Summer Cruise Night. Area residents brought out their best rides to show off the crowd and take a shot at a winning prize. Trophies were handed out to the top 5 winners along with cash prizes. The winner of Best in Show will also get a full-page photo in the Lamar Cruise Nights 2025 calendar.
Fellowship and seeing new cars. It's not about winning I don't consider about winning a trophy, just getting a bunch of people together and having a good time, good evening, fun fellowship, and just seeing a lot of neat cars on the square.
All of the vehicles entered were photographed for the calendar. Coming up, the latest report on jobs.
Coming in hot, today's jobs report blows past expectations while the unemployment rate edged up. Does this mean the Fed keeps interest rates higher for longer? I'm Lydia Hu with that story coming up.
GM has a secret to help sell its new EVs. Wholesale retailer Costco. The automaker is tapping into its auto program. It doesn't sell cars, but connects shoppers with dealerships to buy new and used vehicles. It also offers deals and incentives and provides access to both gas-powered cars and EV models. Costco members are eligible for a $1,000 incentive if they lease or buy a new 2023 or 2024 Chevrolet model. Included in that promotion is GM's Chevrolet Blazer EV and the Chevrolet Equinox EV. Economists were hoping the latest jobs numbers would thread the needle, but instead the figures hit it out of the park. It's good news for the economy, but bad short term for the markets and interest rates. Fox Business correspondent Lydia Hu breaks down the numbers.
Well, it's definitely better than expected.
The May jobs report smashing estimates and possibly delaying an expected rate cut by the Federal Reserve. The U.S. economy added 272,000 jobs last month. The unemployment rate unexpectedly ticking up to 4%. After the numbers were released, stocks fell.
The jobs number is considered to be too strong, right? Well, then that puts the Fed off. That sends this market down a little bit here, and that puts us under a serious amount of pressure.
The job gains suggest the economy is expanding at a steady pace. It also shows companies are still confident enough in the economy to keep hiring despite higher interest rates. The report shines a light on where job openings are.
The report does show most of the job growth really is in healthcare, it's in government, it's in leisure and hospitality, and it's in part-time jobs.
This mixed view of the labor market comes as the Federal Reserve wants the economy to cool as they continue to consider when to cut interest rates. Economists now wait for the Consumer Price Index set to be released Wednesday.
The CPI has moved the market a lot more than even the jobs report has, right?
But no matter the jobs numbers, Americans are still feeling the financial pinch of inflation.
I also think that there's underlying weakness to this. I mean, when you continue to talk to Americans, they say that this is a weak economy. Many people feel like we're in a recession. And a lot of that goes back to inflation and wages not keeping up.
The Fed kicks off a two-day meeting next week. They are expected to keep interest rates unchanged. In New York, Lydia Hu, Fox Business.
Scandinavian furniture giant IKEA is putting a whole new spin on remote work. The company is looking to hire 10 people to work in its virtual store on the Roblox gaming platform. The Roblox outlet is called the Coworker Game. The virtual store opens on June 24th. This makes IKEA the first brand to offer paid work on the gaming platform. Applicants for the job must be 18 and over and live in the United Kingdom or Ireland. It's a fully remote job that pays the equivalent of $16.82 an hour. Lindsay is next with a complete look at the forecast, and later we'll take you out on a party on the Grand Lake.
Well, we are in for a rainy evening. We've got some storms rolling in after midnight. But right now, let's take a look outside Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. We've got a nice sunset picture from a little bit earlier. We've got a little bit of a calm before the storm rolling in tonight. Now, it is a severe threat, but we're really not looking at any super severe weather in our area. Nothing like we've seen the last couple of months. We've had a few rain showers already pass by, but that main threat that we're looking at, a few isolated supercells going to be moving into the area, still west of Wichita right now, but they've had a few severe thunderstorm warnings and even a tornado warning on one of those cells. But as they move into our area, mostly going north, so we might just miss out on that severe threat. But these storms are rolling in a little bit after midnight, so 2 a.m. we've got that spike of over 40%. Like I said, it's going trending a little bit less than what we've seen in the last couple of hours, so we may not see any really large hail, strong wind gusts, but that is going to be our main threats for tonight. Those storms continue until the morning, starts to taper off closer to 8 a.m. We do still have those few scattered thunderstorms, scattered showers continuing into the morning hours. We'll have a nice little break during the midday hours. Still may see a shower or two pass by, but then that chance starts to spike back up in the afternoon. We've got some more storms rolling in tomorrow night, still a low threat, but it is a cold front passing through, and most of the time on cold fronts we do get those severe threats. Now, we go from about 89 degrees as a high on Saturday after that cold front passes in the evening, drops down to 78 degrees on Sunday, and then mid-70s for the next several days. So not a drastic front, but it is going to cool us off for a couple days. After those storms overnight, they continue into the morning on Sunday. We'll have some scattered thunderstorm chances and scattered rain showers continue on Sunday as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at that feature track. We've got storms rolling in after midnight, so here they go. Mostly in our northern counties, so Nevada is going to be seeing some of these strong to severe thunderstorms. Kansas City is really getting hit pretty hard. We're going to see some stronger storms, maybe some thunderstorms. Lightning, thunder might be a little loud, but we're really not expecting any type of severe threat. The max hail size that we'd see, quarter-size hail, wind gust 50, 60 miles per hour, but that's really about all we're seeing for this storm that it's moving through. So it's about 2 a.m. Like I said, Nevada is getting hit with some of those stronger mesoscale convective system storms, but we've got a few isolated thunderstorms moving through. About 3 a.m. finally passed through the metro, moving off to the east, so it's quick moving and it'll continue off to our eastern counties. We still have a few rain showers, a few isolated thunderstorms still passing by in the early morning hours on Saturday, and those will continue well into the morning. We do have a cold front passing on Saturday night, coming in around 11 midnight. Saturday night, we've got temperatures dropping down to the mid 70s after that, and a few more scattered thunderstorms continuing on to Saturday. After that, we do have a couple chances of rain in the forecast, but overall looking pretty good.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. Coming up, Fox on Games.
A legacy brand in gaming swallowing up a second one. I'm Eamon Dignam in New York. I've got the details coming up.
Folks have flocked to Grand Lake today to enjoy the warm weather for the kickoff of Toes in the Grand Festival. We sent photojournalist Ty Parks to check out all the fun.
So, huge weekend for the lake. It's kind of our summer kickoff for the year. Everybody's kind of starting to come in and enjoy the lake life. Huge event here. We've got things gearing up. Friday night, 3 concerts. Saturday night, 3 concerts. We've got hydroplane boat races going on. Drivers from all over the country that's coming in to take in this.
But we're here to win some boat races, so we're all testing today and trying to get the maximum speed out of our boats. So you hear guys back there, out there tuning, and there's motors, props, boats, all are different variables to try to find the speed we need to win. Sit on our knees, and that's so we can move around. So we don't have adjustable trim like a pleasure boat would have. So our body is the trim. So you get back and the nose comes up, and if it gets going too high, then you move forward and then the nose comes down. When you turn, it's cut out on the left side because we always go counterclockwise. So you lean out to keep the boat from rolling over. So we're the trim. So it's a physical thing.
I think it's just really being able to celebrate Grand Lake. It's being able to celebrate Grove, and it's being able to just gather for 2 days and really just get ready for what we know is coming. This is a very busy, very exciting community. A lot of people vacation, they retire, they live here, and it's really just everybody coming together to celebrate the lake region.
The festival continues through this Sunday. Joplin residents enjoyed some crawdads while taking in the great outdoors. Wildcat Glades Nature Group hosted a Crawdads by the Creek event. It featured live music, a dessert auction, yard games, and plenty of good eats. Officials say it's a great way to get with the community and connecting with nature.
So the funds that we raise tonight are actually going to go towards our education programs, help with trail maintenance, graffiti removal on the trails, all of those activities that we do throughout the year. Most of the education activities that we provide are free of charge, so it's events like this that help us make sure that we can continue to do those things.
This is the 3rd year the Nature Group has hosted the Crawdads by the Creek event. A little later, Donald Trump is back on the campaign trail in full swing.
A week after his conviction, former President Trump ramps up his campaigning with a trip to the West Coast. I'm Connor Hansen in New York. I've got the details coming up.
As the market for retro gaming heats up, Atari has acquired former rival Intellivision. Eamon Dignam has more about what the acquisition means for the future of the industry.
Atari CEO Wade Rosen telling Fox about its one-time major competitor, Intellivision.
It was sort of this Nintendo-Sega rivalry from back in the day, and people kind of took one of two camps. And so the idea of being able to unite that for a generation just made a lot of sense.
It may be a major win for those involved in retro gaming, as the continually successful Atari can now issue Intellivision-owned properties, as the 70s and 80s competition comes to an end.
There's the Intellivision name. It was the Running Man logo, which is really iconic. It was a lot of the games. There were a couple games that had been separated from the brand before the acquisition, and so those are ones that we might work with in the future.
I asked about the other major retro console, ColecoVision.
No comment on ColecoVision, but it is kind of the one It's very different than in television too, because they did a lot of licensed titles.
The management behind Intellivision is promising to continue developing their Amico console, but under a new name. That console with a rocky history of failed promises and continued controversy surrounding its initial botched rollout. Other notable console wars include Sega versus Nintendo in the 90s, with Nintendo still remaining king to this day, with Xbox and Sony fighting it out for the number 2 spot. Check out this story and more in the Fox on Tech podcast every weekend. In New York, Eamon Dignam, Fox News.
30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Coming up, the latest details in the trial of Hunter Biden.
Prosecutors have rested their case against Hunter Biden on federal gun charges, but Hunter's lawyer is still deciding whether to put him on the stand. I'm Rebecca Castor in Washington with the latest on the trial coming up.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
A week after his conviction, Donald Trump is heading west to campaign and raise money. He started in the border state of Arizona, where he went after President Biden's new migrant policy. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen has the story.
Former President Trump hit the battleground state of Arizona, his schedule allowing for more travel since the end of his New York criminal trial. Trump told supporters at a rally his conviction should be overturned, but his main focus in the border state was the migrant crisis.
Joe Biden's order is pro-invasion, pro-child trafficking, pro-women trafficking, pro-human trafficking, pro-drug dealers, and in all, it's really they bring death and they bring destruction into our country.
The former president's rally comes just days after President Biden signed an executive order limiting asylum for people who cross the border illegally. Trump and other Republicans prefer their own plan for the border, but Biden continues to point out the failure of a recent bipartisan package.
We had a deal. It was much broader than this, much better, much more accepted across the board. And he got on the phone and told the Republicans, don't support it. It will hurt me, it will help Biden.
The Trump campaign is continuing its West Coast trip through California, then to Nevada. The Golden State is unlikely to go for Trump in November, but Trump is fundraising with major donors there.
This guy, in my mind, poses the biggest threat to democracy.
You know, just the closing the border, the lower inflation, the lower gas prices, just those basic things make me want to vote for him.
President Biden has been in Europe this week, though he's planning his own major California fundraiser next weekend. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Vice President Kamala Harris is continuing the Biden administration's campaign on gun control. As the November election is coming up, Harris is highlighting gun safety laws pushed by the White House. But she says voting for former President Donald Trump could jeopardize all of that. The prosecution rested their case against Hunter Biden on federal gun charges. Now the defense is still deciding whether to call Hunter to the stand. As Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor reports, it was emotional in the courtroom Friday with Hunter's daughter Naomi testifying in his defense.
Hunter Biden's daughter Naomi said she was nervous while on the stand in his federal gun trial Friday. Her testimony brought her father to tears as she talked about his struggle with addiction. Yet she painted a positive picture of Hunter when she saw him in October 2018, the time he bought the gun at the center of this case. He seemed good and I was hopeful, is what Naomi told the jury, as many legal experts say sympathy is Hunter's only hope for an acquittal.
Every juror says they know someone who struggled with drugs. Yeah. And the combination of that, I think the defense hopes, might get a couple of them to look beyond the evidence.
Hunter pleaded not guilty to 3 felony charges tied to purchasing and possessing a gun while using drugs. But over the last 4 days, prosecutors have stacked their case against him through evidence and witness testimony. Now Hunter's lawyer is debating whether or not to put him on the stand on Monday.
I don't like it. Look, 99% of the time in the 30 plus years I've been trying cases, I don't put my clients on the stand because it shouldn't have to come down to that.
The First Lady's presence in the courtroom could also have an impact on the jury. She made the whirlwind trip from France to Delaware to attend the trial again Friday before traveling back to Europe Saturday.
He may be facing 25 years in prison if he's convicted of all 3 charges. It is absolutely reasonable for her to be there.
President Biden has said he will accept the jury's verdict and will not pardon his son if he's convicted. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
A bit later, the final frontier is getting some momentum.
Houston, we have liftoff. I'm Chanley Painter with a look at the latest successful space mission sparking new excitement about reaching the stars. Coming up.
Well, we are in for a rainy evening. We've got some storms rolling in after midnight. But right now, let's take a look outside Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. We've got a nice sunset picture from a little bit earlier. We've got a little bit of a calm before the storm rolling in tonight. Now, it is a severe threat, but we're really not looking at any super severe weather in our area. Nothing like we've seen the last couple of months. We've had a few rain showers already pass by, but that main threat that we're looking at, a few isolated supercells going to be moving into the area, still west of Wichita right now, but they've had a few severe thunderstorm warnings and even a tornado warning on one of those cells. But as they move into our area, mostly going north, so we might just miss out on that severe threat. But these storms are rolling in a little bit after midnight, so 2 a.m. we've got that spike of over 40%. Like I said, it's going trending a little bit less than what we've seen in the last couple of hours, so we may not see any really large hail, strong wind gusts, but that is going to be our main threats for tonight. Those storms continue until the morning, starts to taper off closer to 8 a.m. We do still have those few scattered thunderstorms, scattered showers continuing into the morning hours. We'll have a nice little break during the midday hours. Still may see a shower or two pass by, but then that chance starts to spike back up in the afternoon. We've got some more storms rolling in tomorrow night, still a low threat, but it is a cold front passing through, and most of the time on cold fronts we do get those severe threats. Now, we go from about 89 degrees as a high on Saturday after that cold front passes in the evening, drops down to 78 degrees on Sunday, and then mid-70s for the next several days. So not a drastic front, but it is going to cool us off for a couple days. After those storms overnight, they continue into the morning on Sunday. We'll have some scattered thunderstorm chances and scattered rain showers continue on Sunday as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at that feature track. We've got storms rolling in after midnight, so here they go. Mostly in our northern counties, so Nevada is going to be seeing some of these strong to severe thunderstorms. Kansas City is really getting hit pretty hard. We're going to see some stronger storms, maybe some thunderstorms. Lightning, thunder might be a little loud, but we're really not expecting any type of severe threat. The max hail size that we'd see, quarter-size hail, wind gust 50, 60 miles per hour, but that's really about all we're seeing for this storm that it's moving through. So it's about 2 a.m. Like I said, Nevada is getting hit with some of those stronger mesoscale convective system storms, but we've got a few isolated thunderstorms moving through. About 3 a.m. finally passed through the metro, moving off to the east, so it's quick moving, and it'll continue off to our eastern counties. We still have a few rain showers, a few isolated thunderstorms still passing by in the early morning hours on Saturday, and those will continue well into the morning. We do have a cold front passing on Saturday night, coming in around 11 midnight. Saturday night, we've got temperatures dropping down to the mid-70s after that, and a few more scattered thunderstorms continuing on to Saturday. After that, we do have a couple chances of rain in the forecast, but overall looking pretty good.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Coming up in sports, the K-State baseball team is playing in a super regional game for the first time in 11 years. Plus, the Joplin Outlaws return to Joe Becker Stadium. Brock Baldridge has the highlights from tonight's game and more.
Well, the Joplin Outlaws return to Joe Becker Stadium this weekend. Joplin has only played in one game since Sunday, so the team looks to get back to their usual routine. Here we go from Joe Becker Stadium. Outlaws face the Piney Woods Timberhogs. Starting the first inning, Drake Lee hits a ball up the middle, and that rolls into the grass. Carter Mize will round third and come in to score, and the Outlaws led 2-0 at that point. They score 4 runs in the first frame. We go to the fourth inning now. Andre Jackson elevates this ball deep to center field, and it bounces on the warning track, goes over the short wall out there. Some confusion at home plate, but The umpires do rule it a ground rule double. Joplin leads 5-0. So, hey, there's a familiar face from KOAM. Later that inning, local kid from Columbus, Landon Midget, goes the opposite way for an RBI single. Outlaws now lead 9-0. On the hill tonight is Mr. Hill himself, Cole Hill that is. Uses the breaking ball and the fastball to get a pair of strikeouts and then forces a double play in the third inning. This game is still in progress. Outlaws look like they're well on their way to another victory. They currently lead it 10-4 in the 7th inning. On Thursday morning, Chiefs defensive lineman B.J. Thompson suffered a seizure which sent him into cardiac arrest. According to Thompson's agent, he is awake and responsive. Kansas City Chiefs VP of Sports Medicine and Performance explained the situation of Thursday's events.
He had a seizure during the meeting and then eventually went into cardiac arrest. Just as a side note here, the NFL mandates that we do these emergency action plans for every team in the league, home, away. And then, like I said, he's awake and alert, and he's headed in the absolute right direction. So all things good in a little bit of a hairy situation, but I thank you for your attention.
The St. Louis Cardinals opened the first of a 7-game homestand at the Colorado Rockies on Thursday night, and Game 2 of the series begins tonight. At Busch Stadium, Cardinals look to bounce back after their loss last night. St. Louis is in a back-and-forth battle really in this one. At last check, this game is tied up 5-5 in the 8th inning. In the American League, Kansas City Royals open up a series against first-place Seattle Mariners. Seattle scored 7 runs in the first inning, but the Royals are fighting back in this game. Seattle leads Kansas City 9-7 in the bottom of the 8th. Then in college baseball tonight, the Kansas State Wildcats are playing in only their second super regional game ever in program history. The winner of the best-of-3 series goes to the College World Series in Omaha. K-State had a 3-0 lead at one point, but Virginia storms all the way back. Both teams get back at it tomorrow night at 3 p.m. And it was great to be at the Joplin Outlaws tonight. We had a live shot at the 6th show. Elise Noe, morning show host. She's the MC tonight. Get all the fans excited and get all the kids involved in the game tonight.
It's a good thing she doesn't have to be here tomorrow for the weekend. She's probably going to be super tired.
And hot out there as well.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Brock. Back with more news after this. The final frontier is calling, and Boeing and SpaceX are answering. Fox News correspondent Chanley Painter takes a look at how the latest outer space adventures are fueling excitement about future endeavors among the stars.
3, 2, 1.
A slew of successful space missions is igniting new hope for future explorations.
You are go to command final approach.
Applause filling the International Space Station as astronauts Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore arrived on Boeing's Starliner spacecraft Thursday. The test flight marking the first time astronauts have flown on Boeing's rocket to the ISS. Despite encountering some technical difficulties along the way.
We ended up losing a total of 5 thrusters. Now, we recovered 4 of these 5 thrusters.
The fortunate flight could bring NASA closer to allowing Boeing to conduct regular missions like this to the ISS.
Drawing a line to the stars for all of us.
This comes as SpaceX's Starship also blasted off Thursday. It's the largest and most powerful rocket in the world, and one NASA hopes could bring people to the moon and Mars in the future.
Starship now flying faster than the speed of sound.
Starship later returning to Earth over the Indian Ocean. This was the craft's 4th try to make it to space and back without exploding. SpaceX founder and CEO Elon Musk posting to X, formerly Twitter, quote, "Despite loss of many tiles and a damaged flap, Starship made it all the way to a soft landing in the ocean. Congratulations at SpaceX team on an epic achievement." Meanwhile, Boeing's Starliner is expected to remain at the International Space Station for at least 8 days before it will land in the western U.S. I'm Chanley Painter, Fox News.
Up next, a popular movie franchise returns to the big screen. Many film fans love movie marathons, getting to watch a series of films one after another in the theater. But if you don't have a whole day and night to spare, an upcoming movie marathon spreads the films out over 3 days and gives you 3 different weekends to see them. David Daniel traveled to Middle-earth for the story.
The ring has awoken. Sauron needs only this ring to cover all the lands of darkness. What must I do?
You don't have to venture to Mordor to see the extended editions of the Lord of the Rings trilogy in theaters.
You have my sword, my bow, and my axe.
The Fellowship of the Ring, winner of 4 Academy Awards, returns to select theaters the next 3 Saturdays, June 8th, 15th, and 22nd.
Who now has the strength to stand against Isengard and Mordor and the union of the 2 towers?
War comes to Middle-earth in the second film, The Two Towers, which appropriately won 2 Academy Awards. It follows Fellowship, screening on 3 straight Sundays, June 9th, 16th, and 23rd.
Come, Master! Come to speak.
It is time. The crownless again shall be king.
Become who you were born to be.
Finally, The Return of the King, winner of 11 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, brings the marathon and the trilogy to a triumphant conclusion on 3 consecutive Mondays, June 10th, 17th, and 24th. FathomEvents.com has theater and showtime info, and don't forget your tickets, otherwise...
Shall not pass!
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with a video of hyenas at the Oakland Zoo. And from all of us here at KOAM, have a great night.